Hello, hello. Welcome to Self TV. This is Monica Kunzekwe-Kuta, your host. Today I have got our amazing guest, Chipo Gozho. I will allow her to introduce herself in a minute. But we are on Self TV. We are being sponsored by Project 34 Services, which is managed and directed by Mr. Oliver Nyapimbi, and this takes care of all your building needs in Zimbabwe. So if you need to talk to him, I will also share the poster in our link so that you can contact him and have your building needs taken care of. Today we are talking about Chipo has written a book called Frontline Mom Defeating Destiny Destroyers. She will go into that in a minute. Chipo, how are you?
I'm so blessed, Monica. Thank you for having me on your show.
Fantastic. Can you introduce yourself to our viewers, please?
Okay. My name is Chipo Gozho. I'm a registered general nurse by profession. I'm a life coach, a professional counselor. I'm an author as well. As Monica has said, I've written a book titled Frontline Mom Defeating Destiny Destroyers from the Womb to the World. I'm based in Harare, Zimbabwe.
Fantastic. I find your title very intriguing. Can you tell us what inspired you to come up with the title, and what are you addressing in your book?
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. First and foremost, why I wrote the book, before I get into why I came up with the title, because maybe there is someone else out there who may want to write a book, but they are hesitating to do so. I also did the same, but guess what? I got an inspiration. I remember it was in 2013. My pastor and my life coach, Pastor Chris, he spoke words which have been embedded in my heart since then. I'll quote what he said. He said, I believe in your future. I believe that if you hear the words that I'm going to tell you and you act on them, they will change your future. Success is waiting for a man who says yes to success. Time is important. There are those people who think about designer perfumes, designer clothes, designer shoes, but where are your own designs? Challenge yourself for the future. Train your mind and use it. Give yourself to a teacher. Challenge yourself for the future. If you train your mind, it will deliver to you thoughts, the right thoughts and ideas that will earn you commercial value. There is no poverty for a man who has made an investment in his mind and is willing to act. And he said, some of you are the best writers in the country. Where are your writings? Maybe you are sleeping too much. Maybe you are resting too much. Maybe you are playing too much. It's time to put your best in that writing. Let your country read your writings. Be a problem solver. Because in your writing, you can be solving people's problems. So when I had this message, Monica, at that particular time, I used to blog online. I had a website which I had created on WordPress. I was blogging about parenting. Parenting has always been my passion. And even when I started counseling and life coaching, parenting was my main subject. I was once a guest blogger in the African Queen magazine. and Street Magazine, and I also wrote articles for Gweru Times newspaper. So even when I was growing up, when I was at school, I used to write my thoughts in a journal. I was not much of a talker. Anything that would come to mind about myself or anything striking, I would jot it down. I had plenty of journals. It never occurred to me, never even thought that one day I could write a book. So when Pastor said this, I decided to take those blogs and put them together and come up with a real book. So now coming to my book, COVID-19 pandemic has made us familiarize with the word frontline. And we know frontline workers as peacekeeping forces, as nurses, as doctors. But you know what? Moms have always been frontline workers. Because a frontline worker is someone who operates in an advanced, exposed, and usually dangerous opposition. So the struggles that mothers face as they walk through the journey of motherhood made me write this book. Do you know that some moms do not know the importance of antenatal care? So when I was involved in schools, in children's homes, the experience is there, and what people are going through, it made me write this book. So I even have the opportunity, thank you so much, Monica, this opportunity to express my feelings towards my mother and all mothers around the world. They are just great people in anybody's life. Thank you.
Wow, I could hear you sharing a motivational speech for a moment. And I was thinking, let him
Wow.
carry on. Because I think that short speech is inspired and it actually makes people think that what am I doing? How am I using the gift that I was given by God? Because these gifts we are given so that they could save us and save others.
Yes.
So as we are
Mhm.
saving others, we're fulfilling our purpose. So what are
Yes.
these destiny destroyers?
Okay. So this book uh, is a declaration of war for mothers against everything that delays, everything that defiles, destroys, deflates, derails, detours, distracts, drops, or disconnects children from their destiny. You know, when children are born, they have a destiny, they have a purpose to fulfill.
Before you
And, you know,
before you carry on, there's something that I
okay,
picked up. There's something that I
okay,
picked up as you were sharing all these words that are
okay.
destiny destroyers. They all start with a D.
Yes,
I don't know if you've
they are
noticed it.
devils.
They all start with a D. So devil, destroy, distract. It has a
Mm,
D that starts with it. So
yes,
I see why you're waging a war against the D,
yes,
against the devil. Carry on.
yes. So, the war starts from the time that these children are conceived up to the time they are released into the world as adults. The devil does not like families. That's one thing for sure. Because especially Christian families, he knows that when a child is born in that family, it means the Christian kingdom, God's kingdom, is being empowered. So he tries by all means to make sure that he destroys those children. So, because the Bible also tells us that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers in high places. The book then shows the mother how to identify that enemy, how to draw battle lines and the weapons in order to realign the children to their original God-given destinies. You were asking what the destiny destroyers are. You know, the devil is very cunning and he will not use things that you don't know. He will use things that you know and that you may be accepting and thinking they are good. Take, for example, television. Television is good, but it's a box that has changed the world. Social media addiction, internet games, drug and substance abuse. Those are some of the things that, those are some of the tools that the devil is using to distract children from their destiny, even poverty itself, where you end up with children dropping out of school and early child marriages. Like that's a hot topic in this day. A girl child is distracted. Their opportunity for success, they are no longer going to school. They can no longer pursue their dreams. You know, it's just a few who may have that opportunity to then pursue their dreams later on in life. But their childhood would have been distracted, derailed, and at times destroyed. So those are some of the things that the devil uses.
You have from the womb. What are some? So that's
Yes.
starting quite early. What does it look like then when it's you're looking at the distraction starting from the womb?
Starting from the womb. Okay. Or maybe I should say again why I wrote the book. Because first and foremost, I am a mom and I understand the journey of motherhood. And as a nurse, I understand what frontline means. It means you give your all for life. It doesn't matter what then happens to you. You have signed that, I've given my life for this. And as I said, that I had an opportunity to work for organizations which had school programs like parenting seminars, where I learned that, you know what, parents and children are living in different worlds. I also had an opportunity to go to children's homes, and it's sad to know that there are children who are in orphanages, yet they have both parents alive. And why are they in the orphanage? Because maybe the mother was left with the children, the husband decided to leave, the mother is left behind, and the mother, who is supposed to be the frontline worker now, chickens out because she has no idea how to go on with life. So this book is there to empower this woman, you know. So as a nurse also, I would see pregnant mothers coming to register for antenatal care late. They would come, but at times they would come very late because they didn't understand why they should register early, you know. Even if they knew, Some just did not want to be bothered, you know. Eh, I learned that pregnancies are different and therefore cannot be treated the same, because some will say, like especially maybe our mothers, they will just tell you, put it, no, we never registered for ANC, but look at you now, you grew well and things like that, you know. But moms need this knowledge to prevent what can alter their children's destinies from the onset. So from the womb, some are even failing to conceive. First things first. Some have managed to conceive, but abortions came along, miscarriages, threatening abortions, and some even have preterm babies because of that fight, which says that child must not be born. You see. And some women, do you know that there are some women who have eaten despicable things, raw chicken mixed with the herbs and whatever? You know, the stories are just so touching. It's just for them to conceive. So imagine such a person after having gone through all that and they manage to hold their baby. They cannot just let the devil do anything with that child. It's not possible, you know. So at times they then become so spoiled because the parents are so happy. And when they are so spoiled now at times, they,
Too
they
spoiled,
look like
too spoiled, the mother destroys the child herself.
exactly, yes, yes. You see, because the distraction here is not only caused by maybe by bad friends who would come and introduce the child to drugs and, oh no, even the parents themselves, they do distract the children, maybe by spoiling them or by not even looking after them because of poverty
Mhm.
and many other things, you know, and even not registering for ANC. Because at ANC, at antenatal clinic, what happens is when somebody registers, there are so many things that are checked for that are ruled out. So as to make sure that at the end of it all, we have a healthy mom and a healthy baby. So at times, when if they don't go, those things they'll be discovered late, and you find that maybe someone will always be giving stillbirths. But why stillbirths? Maybe it's just diabetes, gestational diabetes, which was supposed to be treated. Just that,
Mm.
you know, and it's so sad. So
Mhm.
women
So
need to be empowered.
whilst you are on that, where you're
Yes,
talking about uh, prenatal
yes,
care,
yes,
what services are there? What services are there that where people could even it looks like there needs to be awareness first before people get to
yes.
know about the services of what's available to them to be able to
Yes.
get the sort of care they need
Mm.
to in order for them to have a baby who goes full term
Mm.
with no issues.
Okay. So you are saying what services are there? You find that our government has really made an effort to make sure that antenatal services are available, even in any clinic, even in the most remote place, you find those services are there. And referral services are there if those people cannot manage at that particular place, you know. So people can choose to go to a public hospital or a private hospital or or to their GPs, the people have a choice, you know,
Hmm.
as to where they can go. Yes.
Okay. Probably it's just an idea that just came up as you were saying. So
Okay.
it would appear as though, even though those services are available in those
Mm.
places, but
Yes.
they are maybe young mothers who have never heard of antenatal or prenatal or even postnatal depression and stuff that comes
Yes.
after one has a baby. They might not never have heard about it because they never saw anyone in their family go to hospital. It all
Mhm.
happened in the village, and then just go to Nyamkuta there. When it's time to give a baby, stay there for about 2 days, and then after a week they come back home. With everything else in between has been missed out.
Yes.
It might be. I think your book is pregnant with projects and stuff that could be attached to it.
Yes. Yes. You know, as transformational leaders, we need to empower the women, we need to inspire them, we need to motivate them
Yes.
so that they're able to do the right thing. Like you are saying, the facilities may be there, but that motivation, what motivates them to attend, you
Mm.
know, those clinics? So, yes, the book does empower them to do so.
Hmm. And so post with this was prenatal, right? Post,
Yes, it's
you mentioned about families, parents who are actually present, and they're having
yes,
the children raised in orphanages.
yes.
Hmm.
I'll give an example of a one family from Cha Cha Cha. The father left the family. The mother was not empowered economically, financially. So she then saw, you know, these four children as a burden.
Mm.
What does she do? She leaves the children all by themselves to get married somewhere. You know,
Mm.
that dependency. When someone is not empowered, they may be dependent on men. That if they don't have a man in their life, then they cannot survive. So when the mother left, the children were left by themselves, and they would go from household to household asking for food. So
Mm.
it so happened that one time, you know, the villagers were concerned about how these children are surviving. So they went to their house and found them sleeping, the four of them, in a small kitchen next to a fire. Imagine if the fire had caught the blanket, what would have happened? So that's when the villagers decided to take the children to the orphanage. Then at the orphanage, they were looked after, sent to school. And you know what? The children were doing very well at school. Intelligent children. But the parents were absent.
It's good that there was a place where they could be taken. Um,
Yes.
do you know what happened to them after? Oh.
Yes, I know the two, the first and second child, they completed their ordinary level. By the time I got to know about them, the other one was doing a course, though I can't remember what she was doing, but they're doing very well.
That's amazing, because then the
Yes,
village realized and they did something to support the children. So as
yes,
you are talking about your book, I see it has got many areas that it covers. What
yes.
other what other segment would you like to talk about?
Okay. So the other, I'll still go back to why I wrote the book. So as a Christian, I learned that moms fight an invisible enemy, but whose presence is felt by the trail of distractions he leaves on the children.
Mhm.
Like I said before, he hides behind what we all know: social media addiction, bullying, drugs, robbery.
Mhm.
So life, life, life is spiritual. You cannot fight the devil in the physical. You can only fight him in the spiritual realm. And then how do we do that? That's the emphasis of the book.
Right.
The answer is in Ephesians chapter 6, you
Okay.
see, where we are encouraged to put on the whole armor of God. So, as you can see on the
On the book
book
cover.
cover, there is
Yes,
a
I saw that book cover and I was like, where did she get the camouflage? Yeah, she is wearing it nice and proper. And it suits you.
um, the publishers, I don't know how they did it. I just sent my photo. I don't know how they did it.
Wow, amazing.
Yes. So because the book is about putting on the whole armor of God.
Mm,
When Paul was in prison, he was guarded. He was being guarded by Roman soldiers. You know, so instead of him being distracted by these soldiers, getting angry, why am I here? Why are they guarding me? Getting angry at the guards. Instead, he was happy. Why? Because they gave him a revelation.
right.
A revelation of their armor became his revelation. So it's my thinking. I didn't ask, but when I saw the book cover, I said to myself, my goodness, I thought that maybe if they had used the Roman soldier regalia, the 20s moms would not understand it. So this
Would
is
not.
the modern day. This is the
Absolutely.
modern day soldier, not the Roman soldier, but the modern day
Yes,
soldier, so that the moms could understand
could
that even
understand.
if they are, even if they are wearing this regalia, even if they are smiling as on this picture, they
But
don't.
they mean business.
Yes.
They mean
Yes,
business. Okay.
they
So
mean
let
business.
me
Yes.
take a minute. Let me take a minute to inform people what we are talking about today. Today
Okay.
I have got our guest here, Chipo Gozho, and we are talking about the book that she wrote, which is actually motivating and encouraging mothers. And the title is Frontline Mom: Defeating Destiny Destroyers. We are looking at what destroys the children from the womb and all the way to when they are adults and released into the world. And Chipo here is giving out tips, verses, and information, motivation, encouragement on how, as women, as mothers, we can go to war and fight to protect our children. So our topic here is Frontline Mom Defeating Destiny Destroyers. I'll just read the comments here. One was by Gogoru B. Patricia. She said very true that the mother as the frontline has always been a frontline worker, and that job does not end from beginning to
Yes.
end. She is and always and will always be a frontline mom. And um, Chataika here says that's a great initiative. So from where I'm standing, I don't think she's just seeing a book only. She is seeing a project. Maybe the book is attached to a project. I don't know, but I think as you already said that you work with orphans. That is one wing um, of the many roles that you play. And okay, so no matter, we have just told you what this book is all about. Before we continue, I'm going to we're going to appreciate P P34 services, Project 34 services, which is sponsoring South TV, so that we can continue doing these programs and sharing information, knowledge, encouragement, and and other services that come along with being here on South TV. Project 34 Services takes care of all your construction and architectural services. You find them in Harare. Okay, Chipo. Uh,
Okay.
I don't know if you remember where I left off or where you left off, but I'll give you an opportunity to carry on.
Okay. All right. We're talking about the regalia that don't take the mom for granted. Um, you know, a frontline mom will not let the devil destroy the fruit of her womb. She carried that baby for 9 months or less. Like I said, some are born prematurely. And she will not destroy her own children by speaking negatively over her children, but she will bless them. Even if those children go astray, she will speak what she wants to see in that child. She will prophesy what she wants to see in the lives of her children, and will not waste her words on what is happening, but will speak what she wants to see. Because if you do not do it for your children, who is going to do it for you? It's a war. And in a war, you are supposed to always be alert, you know.
Mhm.
So the word of God is the sword of the spirit, you know. And that sword of the spirit is the one that is always supposed to be found in our mouths. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is um, you don't need to be a nurse, you don't need to be a peacekeeping force to be a frontliner. In that kitchen, as a stay at home mom, you know, you are
Mhm.
a frontliner for your family. As an engineer, as a caterer, as a manager,
Mhm.
wherever, whatever you do, you know, you are a frontline. Don't look down upon yourself, you know. Mothers
Uh-huh.
shape. Mm, okay.
I want us to talk a little bit more about the power of your words as a parent. I think that
Okay.
is very, very important. That one, it can actually be a discussion on its own. A
Mhm.
lot of mothers, they, instead of saying positive words, positive prayers, talking
Mm,
about what they want to see in
mm,
their child, for their child. Instead, they say negative things, not
mm,
realizing that as one who is covered in the whole armor, right? In the whole armor
mm,
of God, it means that everything that you have, everything, you're the one who carries the shield that protects
Yes.
anything evil that might be coming towards your child. But then if you give
Mm.
the enemy the weapon that you're supposed to use to attack the enemy, you're handing over. I don't know if they realize that when they don't say good about their child, when they don't speak a good word or even talk about what they want to see in their
Mm.
child's life, they are actually
Mm.
taking all these weapons that are covering the armor, giving to the enemy to say,
Yeah.
hey, do what you want with my child.
Yeah. Monica, that's why I then decided to start a network called Frontline Moms Network so that I can empower moms, and teach them these things that we are talking about. So Psalms chapter 127, verse 3 says, Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Verse 4 is the striking part. It says, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth.
Mm.
So to me, imagining a mighty man, a mighty man cannot just carry just an arrow, a blunt arrow, just an arrow that has been picked. No, I'm seeing a very sharp arrow, an arrow that cannot miss the target. You see? So our children, when they are born, they are very sharp. And arrows, they represent the ability of a person to free his or her spirit and travel far and wide across the galaxy in his dreams or whatever he desires to do in life, soaring high like an eagle. But then what happens? Moms become a distract. It's a pity that we moms sometimes turn that sharpness into bluntness. Have you ever heard mothers insulting or rather cursing their children as if they did not come from their wombs?
Yes,
One minute, one minute
I
the
want
baby is in the womb and is
the
so
next minute,
cherished.
there she's using all these cursing words. Um, I think you're frozen for a second there. I remember um, this lady who was I was in Zimbabwe at the time, and she had a 2-year-old, and the child was just playing, and then she just said, "Iwe, reketa zvakuda kuita, kuda kuzoita rombe." And I was like,
You
"Oh
see
my
now.
God." Yes, and I was like, "Oh my God." So I said to her, "Can you repeat what you said?" And then she
Mm,
realized that I said, "I want you to repeat what you said, and I want you to
mm,
listen to yourself.
mm,
How old is this child?
mm.
He doesn't know the words, but they have
Yes,
got impact. Why would you say
yes.
why would you say this to a 2-year-old?
Mm,
I'm not saying it's
mm.
okay to say it to a 15-year-old or even to a grown
No,
man. It's not.
yes.
But why would a mother speak such words to their own children or to their own child?
Mm, mm,
So I
mm.
had to
It's
sit her
wrong.
down and to say, we need to talk about this. And when you are speaking these words, you are
Mm,
actually cursing your child.
mm. Because what happens is 1 minute the baby is in the womb, they are so cherished, words of life are spoken to them, and then the other minute the child is born. They are growing and receiving insults every day. So what are we doing? Then shape the child's life, like you were saying. Those insults then shape that child's life. So, what kind of an adult are we expecting from all this? At times, these insults, they are not even called for. There's a difference between straight talk with the child and insult. There's a difference. So words are keys in the spirit and they activate laws. If you are saying positive words to a child, you are activating laws that should work in that child. An example is if you continually say to a child, you shall be a preacher of the word, you shall be a preacher of the word. It doesn't matter what may come their way. At times the children may go astray, they may cheat, they may steal, they may do all sorts of funny things. But that word that you spoke will eventually come to pass. They will eventually become a preacher. So words are a force which creates something. Never keep your mouth shut. Your mouth is not only for eating, it's for chatting the course of your life, the life of your family, chatting the course of what you want to see. For you are the prophet of your life and that of your family. So I always encourage mothers that please don't let people talk you or your children down. And don't join them because at times they may talk you down and there you are. You join them and you say, zveshuwa uidenzi. Hangakoni nokuti akafanana natete vake. Avelo ngeke ayeke luvavile mufuzi wavakazi wake. No. Talk yourself and your children up. Give form to your children's destiny. Refuse. Reject what you don't want. You control your life and that of your children by your words. So I was saying, I was talking about Ephesians chapter 6. It gives us the weapons of how to fight and win this war. It talks about that we need to have to put on the belt of truth, the sword of the spirit, prayer, helmet of salvation, shield of faith, feet shod with the gospel, breastplate of righteousness. All these are the revelations that Paul received when he was looking at that Roman soldier. So the sword of the spirit is the word of God, the rhema, the action of saying. It is the standard for living, the manual of how we should talk and chart the course of our lives. Even in our businesses, I'll ask the moms, what have you been saying about the works of your own hands? Remember, words get settled in the spiritual realm. Some mothers, they are the first ones to doubt their businesses, but they expect us to believe in them again. You may have said whatever you were saying, looking down upon your business. Business, but those words got settled in the spiritual realm, and the results are evident. Your business is not going anywhere. So I always say, the way you shout at someone, the energy that you exert so much when shouting at someone until you get the results. The results that when you want them to go down. It's better to channel that energy by speaking words of power to your business, speaking positively, and you will see the results of what you say. Words build, words kill. There are words which also may have been spoken into your life as a mother. They will tell you, you will never be a good mom, you can't be anything in life, And you believed those words because they were said by people who were very close to you. It could be your parents, it could be your spouse, or your caregiver. I encourage you, moms, break those words by saying out who you are and what you want to be. The same way you believed those words when they were said to you and how it affected you deeply should be the same way you should strongly believe that you are the best that ever happened to this earth. Go on and fulfill your purpose on this earth.
I like how passionate you are with the topic and the words of wisdom, encouragement, and empowering. I think it is very important because with what people have gone through l- lately or over the years, especially
Yeah.
in our country economically, people have had to keep strapping up their boots. Two, three
Mm.
times a day, you strap up your boots because nothing seems to be working. But to
Yes.
keep stay positive, um, join the network that the Frontline Network, is that what it's called? Frontline Mom
Frontline
Network.
Moms Network. Yes.
Mhm. Join the Frontline Moms Network. Be encouraged. Position yourself somewhere where you are fed positive things, positive words, and where you are also taught how to talk well about yourself, how to talk good about yourself and your children. I think that is what is going to help us turn around a lot of the problems that we are facing right now. At the moment, like what Chipo said, we have the problem of the girl child whose life is being destroyed before it even gets anywhere. But it used to be a problem for the girl child only who was being married off young. But right
Mm.
now, we have a problem of the boy child who is taking drugs, which means that as a society, we cannot close our eyes and pretend it's happening next door. As a
Yes.
society, we really need to understand why the frontline mom is now putting on the armor and saying, even though they've always fought before, now it needs to be evident that they are
Yes.
out to fight because there is no time to waste. Drugs are killing our children. And if the boys, here is why you shouldn't ignore these mothers and fathers. If the boys are taking drugs now, it means that if they are lucky enough to survive, your daughters are going to marry a junkie.
Hmm.
There's no two ways about it. That's just if they're
Yes.
in the same age group, you just know that your Nkwasha is going to be a junkie. So you cannot ignore because it's happening next door. Because that boy that you are watching and ignoring whilst he's taking drugs, he could be your son in law. And at that point, there's not much you can do to turn around the effects that it is going to have on your offspring, because vana vako, whether vari vana vemsikana or mukomana, they are also your children. Are you thinking about what you are leaving behind? That is why I understand the purpose of the frontline moms and why they are now taking up the armor. I think at this point, we really need to be aggressive with this, towards the destiny destroyers, because they are taking hold whilst people are thinking, oh, it's happening in the townships, but it's not. It started happening in the low density a long time ago. Drugs used to be for people who could afford. Now it's
Yes.
not the case anymore. Can you chime in, Chipo?
Sorry.
Can you add to that?
Oh, okay. On the issue of drugs, I'll also even go back to the issue even of the girl child. This is affecting both the girl and the boy child, and it's being caused by moms, unfortunately. Um, because of the COVID pandemic, people have been so much stressed. But, you know, they don't even think that even their children are also stressed. And the children look to their parents, but the parents are so deeply concerned about their stress and they ignore the children. So where are these children going to go to? I was touched by this a girl whom I was with on panel in a radio show last week. You know what she said? She said that the we are not being given attention at all, you know. So if they're not giving our moms are not if they're not giving us attention, what else can we do? The next thing I'll just go to somebody who has a listening ear, and that's a sugar daddy, you know. And she was complaining that we are being compared to kids next door who have started working. Children finish their degrees, but there are no jobs. So if there are no jobs and the children next door get jobs, this is affecting both the boy and the girl child. And she was saying, I'll be coming from, placing CVs and oh, I'm tired, and my mother will always be on my case, shouting day in, day out. You are not looking for a job. You are not looking for a job. This is going to cause these children even to leave homes. And as they leave homes, where are they going to? To the streets. Who is on the streets? Junkies. And already they are initiated into what? Into
Drugs.
substance abuse.
Mm.
And whose fault is it in this case? It's us moms.
Mm.
And when children are affected by something, they come, they want to talk to you, you are busy shouting at them because you are stressed because you no longer have a job. You are pushing them away to those destiny destroyers. So we really need to be careful. It's a war.
Indeed, it is a war. And as you are talking, there is the shouting part, but there is also, it's because toddlers and babies can't talk, but mothers are
Yes.
not even picking them up whilst they're on WhatsApp. They're not picking
Mm.
up the children who wants attention. They're not feeding. There are some mothers who are not feeding children on time because they are on social media. They're not changing
Yes.
the baby, the nappy on time because they are
Mm.
on social media. So we need to work hard to convert mothers, probably reminding them that as you are trying to escape from the troubles of today, do not forget that you have, first and foremost, you have a responsibility to raise the next
Yes.
generation.
Mm.
Mhm. Yes. So someone here is saying social media is a, yeah. Sharon Joba is saying social media is a a big vice. It's true because it's affecting. Well, the mothers are using it, and they're forgetting
Yes.
about their responsibilities, and then
Yes.
the children are being lured through social media as well because the mothers have got no time to monitor how their children are changing because the
That's
focus
true.
is elsewhere. And
Yes.
yeah, it's I see why the frontline the frontline moms need to be a very big international network. Really, it needs to
Yes.
grow because there's so much work to do.
Yes. There's so much work to do.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to really round up and give us your final thoughts about where you are now and where you want to go with as a frontline mom who is aiming to who is working hard and has been working to defeat destiny destroyers.
Okay. So a frontline mom also gives herself to coaching. And as Frontline Mom Network, we offer that service of coaching moms, moms starting from some are teenage moms, young moms, who have no idea of what motherhood is, who are still trying to navigate the journey of motherhood. Motherhood is very funny. You get married today, you are just expected to know how to be a mother, or even you just get pregnant, and people just expect you to know that you then know how it goes about, Yet people don't know, and they need to be taught, and they need to be guided. So we offer those services, and to teach them all this we've been talking about, the importance of ANC, how to look after the kids, even how to find a nanny, the advantages of being a stay-at-home mom, the advantages of being a working mom, all those things we teach them. So a frontline mom humbles themselves and they are willing to learn from others, because if you become someone who knows it all, you get into trouble because people will ignore you and you miss out on the finer details of life. So give yourself to learning in order to keep up with the current trends. We have moved from typewriter age and we went to the computer age, we went to internet 4G, to digitization. Now we're even at 5G age. As a mom, be a friend of technology. Don't run away from technology. One, technology, that's where your children spend your time on. If you don't know what they are watching, if you don't know what they are doing, if you have no idea, no clue of what's technology, you will not know what is going to destroy your children. You know. And also, that's the way to do business nowadays, is to your advantage. So as a frontline mom, I encourage you to keep your position. Refuse to tolerate nonsense in the life of your children. Guard them jealously from the evil one. Don't take abnormal things as normal. Abortions are not normal. Stillbirths are not normal. Teenagers taking their lives is not normal. Substance abuse is not normal. Bullying is not normal. Poverty is not normal. But you can fight all these things in prayer. Produce results in prayer and action. Thank you.
Fantastic. Now the questions are coming hot for you here. There are questions for you. Sharon
Okay.
is saying that, but how can we make fathers aware as well? And so, is it mothers and fathers in frontline? Is there such a group like frontline dads?
We are actually thinking of having one, because like some moms say that it now looks like it's a bias towards women, But we're also thinking, my husband calls himself a frontline dad.
Okay.
It's very important so that people can be at the same level.
Absolutely, because
True.
Doubt Dewachimonyo, he had said, won't it be an advantage if fathers are taught as well? And he's also pointed out that most women complain that men are failing them in all areas. It's because every responsibility is put on a woman. And now you are teaching mothers on front line. And where is the father?
Um, Maybe you're taking from that is that when you empower a woman, you've empowered a family, you've empowered a nation.
Okay.
So we think that maybe if you empower the woman, she's able to empower the family. But point taken.
Absolutely. So there you have it, Mr. Chimonya and others. They are now working to equip the fathers as well. Uh, Chipo's husband he calls himself a frontline dad, and
Yes,
so I'm pretty sure he's working on his own book and also his own club or or network, because
yes,
this is necessary. And also I think sometimes there will be frontline parents coming together to do seminars and conferences, because
yes,
people need to work together. um, there is balance that the kids needs from both men and women.
yes,
And the men could be uncles, could be mentors, there could be other role models, teachers, lecturers, people who are taking a serious role in realizing that both men and women are needed in raising children. And this is
yes.
how the saying came from. It takes a village. Some of us, we
To
were
raise
raised
love.
by the whole neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it is because of those values that we had that the woman from down the road could tell me off, and I would know that it is the same thing that my mother would say if she had seen
Yes,
me doing that same thing. For us to work as Zimbabweans, people need to stop saying it's my child and my child alone, but to realize that once people take a collective way of raising these children, you will not see them disrespecting an older person just because they are not related to them. All that
yes,
nonsense will stop if adults understand their position and their role in every child's life.
mm,
Thank you so much, Chipo, for bringing this important topic. I'm encouraging people to find. Could you add the link for Frontline Mom Network in the discussion, and any other networks that or any other links that you might want to add, but also attach the link for your book as well, so that
okay,
anyone who wants to have access to it, they are able to click on the link, or you can tell them where to find the book. We are
okay,
all needed, because everyone, every adult, I believe, needs to wear this armor and
yes,
fight against the destiny destroyers. I'm waging a war against drugs in Zimbabwe, and also against those who go after the girl child. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers, for spending time with us here on South TV. Have a good week. See you soon. Bye bye.
bye.